Today on Free Field Training, we're taking a look at Safe Life Defense's Hyperline body armor. They are billing this as some of the lightest, thinnest level 3A soft armor that you can get on the market. I can kind of believe it, given the weight and the thickness of it. This is a pre-production prototype that they sent me for T&E. So the final version should look similar to this. Colors and stuff might change later, but the internals should be what they end up with using here. As usual with armor tests, what we are going to do is we're going to take this out to the range and we're going to shoot it with a whole bunch of stuff. It's being sent out for lab tests, so I'm not going to do clay ballistics testing or anything like that on it. You can find all of that information on their website when they finally start selling this stuff. What we are going to do is we're going to put it up against a 1-inch pine board and shoot it with 22, 9, 40, 45, and 44 mag, so that way you can get a realistic expectation of what backface deformation is going to be in a way that you can kind of relate to in real life. And then I'm going to put this on a rubber dummy, and we are going to shoot the absolute snot out of it with everything that it's rated for over and over and over again to test its multi-hit capability. So if rounds are landing almost on top of each other, what's it going to do? Maybe we'll get in some more exotic rounds. I also expect that this should have no problem, given testing other 3A vests in the past, stopping 12 gauge 1-ounce rifled slugs and 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch 9 pellet double-aught buckshot. So we're going to try both of those as well. And we're going to see what else we come up with when we get out there. So we're going to go out to the range, put this up, start doing some shooting with it, and then when we're done, we're going to take it apart and see if there's any failure points, what they were, and kind of give you a look at how rounds work inside of body armor, once again, especially the specific body armor. All right, so first we're going to start with just a little 22, a little Beretta 21A with some mini mags. And next we're going to use the High Point C9, just some standard 115 grain 9mm ammo. Next I've got a Glock 22, normal 180 grain, just normal ball ammo. Next up, 230 grain, 45 ACP, just standard ball ammo out of a Glock 21. And next I've got my 4-inch 686 with a 158 grain 357 Magnum, little hammerhead round. And next we have my 5.5-inch Ruger Red Hawk with a 180 grain FTX round from Hornaday. Whew. That one's spicy. Let's go take a look. So there is no penetrations on the back from any of those, which should be expected. It's a 3A vest. Here is your 22 over here. You got nothing. 9, 40, 45. This is your 357, and of course you saw the 44 mag break the board. So that's what you can expect with backface deformation. And this is pretty on par with other vests that we've seen. 44 mag, definitely a bruiser even in a 3A vest. While we got it out here, we're going to try it with some shotgun rounds. The first one is going to be Winchester 9 pellet double-aught buck, just a normal 2 3/4 inch double-aught buck. And while we're at it, we're going to put a 1 ounce slug through it too. This is a 2 3/4 inch Remington Slugger. See if we had anything go through. Well, let's see if we have penetrations here with it. There's our slug and our double-aught buck. You can see the pattern there, really tight. And we got nothing coming through the carrier. The back of the carrier is ripped a little bit, but you can see that's clearly not enough for a 1 ounce slug to get through. All right, let's see what else it's got. All right, next up we're going to have a nice little ball, 125 grain 357 Magnum action. We're going to see if we get 6 rounds really close to each other. That's pretty close. 125s do tend to give body armor a little bit of a trouble in 357. We'll see how it did. All right, here's our hits. And yeah, we got a little denting on the back here, but nothing went through. Carrier's still pretty clean. All right, since the 125s from a 357 didn't do very much, let's try 180 grain 44 mag. That FTX tip, that's the thing that was cracked up the board pretty good over there. Let's try 6 of those, get those close together and see what it does. Take a looky-see. All right, here's our 6 shots of 44. Admittedly, I'm not as good with the Red Hawk as I am with the 686, even at this really close distance. We don't have a lot of call for a 5.5 inch 44 mag in Chicago. So there's your 44 hits, and there's your back face on the back. You can see from where the dummy's at, it took a bunch of the paint off. There is damage to the back cover, but nothing's coming through. You can see there, you can see the ballistic material there is still intact. But that's part of why we're going to take this apart when we're done. Do it layer by layer. You can see where they stopped and how they stopped. Kind of expect a little more damage from the 44. Let's see what the Instagram audience wants next. Let's see, guys, what do we got? All right, so the request from the live Instagram audience is for a contact shot about 1 inch from the edge. We haven't done this before with an armor review, so let's do our worst possible case scenario for somebody shooting you really up close, and that is almost missing your vest. So here is where the edge of the armor actually is here. You can feel around the edge. So we're going to put it right at the top of the pocket here. So there's a significant amount of blast damage, as you can see there, from the muzzle blast. But nothing on the back face. We're going to try that with a couple other rounds. That's fun. Let's try a contact shot 1 inch from the edge with the 125 grain 357 out of a 4 inch 686. So here's our edge here, so I'm going to hit it less than 1 inch off. Again, right above the pocket, between the Velcro and the pocket here. Really, really nasty place to get hit with most armor. All right. I did not expect that. I'm going to do that with a 158 next. Let me find a 158. Hold on, you guys aren't going to... I got to have witnesses to this one. It's sitting on the surface. So we're going to try it with the 158 grain 357 Magnum American Eagle. Same thing, 4-inch Smith 686. Contact shot less than 1 inch from the edge of the vest. You want to see this live again, go check out the live on my Instagram. So we're going to do it on the opposite side, between the Velcro and the top of this pocket, so we're less than 1 inch from the edge of what the actual armor is inside the carrier, because some of this is empty carrier up here. So we've got a smoking hole through the front of the carrier. I think we may have found something that did this in. Don't see a hole through, but we have a big gaping hole from it getting hit in the front. I've got, there's no hole on the back. The carrier is messed up. Here, let me zoom you in. Get the carrier's messed up, but there's no hole in the back. I'll be very interested when we disassemble this to see where that stopped inside, how many layers it got through. That's pretty impressive edge shot performance. We're going to try 44 next. 5.5-inch Ruger Red Hawk, 180 grain, 44 mag. I should give it plenty of velocity to be dealing with this. See how it does with an edge shot. So I'm going to put it between, actually there's some space up here, so the armor ends here. So if I put it right here on this strap, that should be 1 inch from the edge. Actually a little less than 1 inch from the edge. Let's give it a shot. You can feel the heat come off that. So here's our hit on the strap. Let's zoom you in. Here is our back. You can see there's damage to the carrier. Let me zoom it out a little bit. You see there's damage to the carrier, but no hole coming through the ballistic material. It actually feels hard in there. So let's do back in there. That'll be another one that's very interesting. You know what? I'm going to rip this open so you guys can more easily see. Otherwise, people are going to think I'm playing games. That's the bulge out the back of it. And here's where it hit on this side. That far from the edge of the vest. Just barely on it. I'm gonna do my 3 shots of double aught buck here because I want to be able to look at that when we disassemble it. So next I'm going to put 3 shots, 9 pellet, 2 3/4 inch double aught buck. I'm going to try to center them all around that first shot of double aught buck that I did. So when we disassemble it, we got something interesting to look at, see how body armor reacts not only to double aught buck from one shot, but then multiple shots together. I think I'll move them over maybe a couple inches to the side, put them on top of each other. Let's take a look at that, make sure nothing went through. I don't imagine it did. And then we're going to get lots of rounds all in the size of a fist from various handguns to kind of get that multi-shot look when we take the body armor apart. So here is our hit, all of those double aught bucks together. I am sure there's going to be some damage to the back here. That is a lot of power. Let's take this off, take a look at it. So here's our double aught. And here's the back. So if I get this ripped open here. And that's the back of the armor. There's no holes coming through. Again, when we disassemble this, we're going to take a closer look. All right, finally, we're going to do some testing for multi-hit capabilities. I'm going to run through full mags and cylinders full of ammo, dump them all in about the same area, and then when we take the vest apart, we'll be able to see how rounds deal when you've just got a bunch of them all hitting the same spot. So let's take it apart and take a look. So this is the vest after shooting. You can see we did a pretty good job. I like those close impacts up there. All those rounds right on top of each other down there. We're going to disassemble this and see what we can learn from the insides. I also have one panel left, a little side panel of the Hyperline. So in case anybody has any questions about any specific rounds that I forgot about or we didn't test here or I didn't have available at the time, we can always do a live stream later on Instagram. I wish I could do lives on YouTube with shooting tests, but YouTube doesn't allow that anymore, and I respect their decision. So head on over to Tommy_free field training if you want more about this armor and to see all of the other live armor and equipment test videos. There's also links and coupon codes and all of that down in the description for this vest that we shot today in case you're interested in purchasing it when it finally does go on sale or anything else from Safe Life Defense. I am going to dig into this vest now. We're going to pull it out of the carrier first. The only ding I'll give the armor itself is that it comes pretty stiff, so you have to break it in. As you can see, it's flexible, but you have to kind of break it in before wear. Already I can see some of the rounds that hit the front of the vest, I'm assuming, and bounced off. So I did notice that a couple of times, which is a pretty, there's another one, pretty interesting result. Here's some rounds here that mushroomed out. Oh, there's more pieces. There's some rounds that mushroomed out there. There we go. And so here's the 5 rounds that were sitting on the surface of this, or fell down into the carrier. We had a lot of rounds, especially we had one 357, 125 grain 357, which is sitting on the surface of this, which is really weird. The only thing I can think is maybe that wasn't fully loaded from some reason from the factory. There was a box brand new round, but it was an interesting result. We'll have to see what everything else did, kind of get an idea of what the deal was with that one sitting on the surface. Let's cut this thing open. Looks like it's bonded to the first couple layers of armor here. This round's falling off. Alright, so here is our first, looks like our first layer of armor, plus the plastic cover that's supposed to protect the armor from water. That's bonded on there. That's interesting. It's a new one I haven't seen before. So there's our first layer. And then we saw some things fall here. This looks like it might be our 125 from up here. That's a little guy. And here are a bunch more, whoop, that just fell out when I took the top cover off. There we go. Trying to get this to zoom is crazy. Camera's acting all spastic today. Alright, hopefully that solves the focusing issue. So on the surface of this here, we've got a bunch of rounds just sitting there. On top, this looks like some variety of ball round. You could see with the ball ammo how it cracks open on the front and mushrooms out. Here's one that you can see really well. The crack open and mushroom. So there's a little dot of the jacket in the middle, and then it mushrooms around it. Oddly enough, real life isn't always like the internet. Sometimes things don't stay perfect when they hit soft objects. Things like body armor. Let's see what else we've got sitting in here. Here's another one. This one looks like a round hit another round that was in the armor. See that big divot in it? So you've got the side of the round here with the lands and grooves, and then it either hit or got hit by another round. Looks like it got hit by another round that divoted the lead inside the first one. Interesting stuff. We put a lot right on top of each other here and in this area, so it'll be interesting to see all the rounds and how they impact when they hit each other as well. Here's a piece of just unjacketed lead. There we go. More unjacketed lead. I'll start digging in. If I'm reading this right, this looks like it's Dyneema layers, which would explain why it's so hard to pull apart. So what are we? This is the second layer in here of material. And we have a bunch of lead fragments twisted up in Dyneema. And then we've got a bunch of mushroomed out ball rounds, it looks like here. Over here, we've got a slug and maybe a piece of wadding. Here's your 1 ounce rifled slug. It's what it looks like after it hits something, after it's caught by body armor. As you can see, so here's your original diameter, or thereabouts, and there's it all mushroomed out. Imagine that going through somebody, man. Here's what looks like a piece of some other type of wadding from that slug. We were shooting at very, very close range, obviously. And we've got a bunch of little tiny fragments of stuff. Copper jacket. There's another mushroomed out round. Interesting to see if any of this managed to get through. So here's some examples of rounds I think you guys will find interesting. So here's one that is mushroomed out. Not a perfect mushroom, but you can see that's the base of the round. There's lands and grooves around the outside edge. And then here is one that has deformed in kind of an oval. So you got lands and grooves and the circle around the bottom. And you could see the whole thing just kind of mush sideways. Wonder how that got caught that caused that reaction. The most common reaction, the one I would bet money on happening, would be this type of thing where you get the mushroom when it hits soft body armor. But, you know, real life, you don't always get perfect results from the ammunition. Even when you're shooting the same rounds. Let's get these. These all look like they're another layer low. Here's another one sitting on top. Just kind of chunks. Alright, so this isn't going to come off without, if you guys want to see this, it's going to have to be now. Because this thing, it's not going to let me take this off without this coming and flying with it. That one actually stayed in shape pretty good for having hit soft body armor. That's third layer. So this is what was caught into the fourth layer of body armor. We've got one piece here. That's the next layer down. All right. So we'll pull another one off here. Ooh, we got a little more. So here, we've got some that's stuck in and through the back. If you guys can see all that there. So we've got a couple pieces. This is interesting. Couple pieces caught into the back of this fourth layer. Ooh, one last one. That's a nice mushroom. Got around right here. Literally landed like that. I'm betting, given the configuration of this, that this is either a 44 or one of those 158 grains. Judging by the back, I'm thinking that's a 44. So 44 went pretty far in. A lot of the other ones we're seeing possibly going into the same holes with each other into armor that's already disturbed. This is over in the corner. This is a 44 into undisturbed armor. It's interesting. There's some more of those multi-hits. You can see all these are good examples of rounds hitting other rounds. Getting caught up in the fibers. This one especially got dented. Will get hit by something else after it landed. And then we've got, whoa, that's interesting. I'm going to say that's likely our 158 then. So let's find my, where did I put my 44 at? Here you go. This looks like our 158 grain 357 after hitting soft body armor. Remember, these were some of the first rounds that we fired down here on the edge. So that's its results in clean body armor. I wonder why the 158 grain hammerhead loads were so effective on this street for so long out of 4-inch 357s. Oh. I could never take a guess why that would be. Got more rounds up here. Take a couple of these out. It looks like it might be the next layer down. This looks like the jacket came off of a round. Popped all the way off the back. Non-bonded, of course. That's how those roll. Let's get another layer down here. If this will separate. There we go. So on this layer, we're going to have to come out through the back. Oh, there's the jacket. I'm betting that's the jacket from the piece that was separated. Seems like it stripped the jacket of several of these. And there's some pieces of jacket that are caught in here that we're just not going to be able to get out, even with pliers. That's just going to be working here forever on that. That's the interesting thing about lead is it's so soft, it can actually get wrapped up into the fibers of lots of soft body armor, especially this Dyneema. Let's get back out there. So we've got pieces sitting right here on the surface. Let's get these up. Get this separated anywhere. A couple pieces sitting on the surface here. Oh, that's interesting. Here we go. They're mushroomed out round. So apparently lots of these multi-hits ended up in this layer. Let's gather all of this up. Cool stuff. There's some just sitting kind of on the surface there. Still stuff falling out, all right. Let's get the stuff that was falling out. So these are the ones we're worried about. Obviously that on this is where we had those, I don't know, 35, 40 rounds all on top of each other, between 357 and 40. It's very hard. And I can't tell whether it hit and bounced. Let's try the other side. We may have had one that managed to get through in that hole of shooting a bunch of them all together. I'm trying to get you guys good. Here you go. On that side. That looks like that one may have gone through after putting 40 rounds all on top of each other. Let's see if we can get this separated out. Let's get the backmost layer. There you go. So we get to the limits there. Let me see if I can get some light through that for you. See light through that? All right, so after all of that, oh man. After all that, there is our back layer. Let me zoom you out there. After all that, that is our back layer. That's where we hit it with God only knows how many rounds. I'll try to put them on here somewhere, how many we fired into that one spot. And something made it through, because we definitely have a hole there. So for something that is one of the lightest and thinnest armors on the market, I'd say that's pretty good. definitely push the limits on that test. You ever wonder what double-aught buck looks like after it hits soft body armor? There you go. No little balls anymore. Hey, thanks for watching Free Field Training on YouTube. And while you're here, why don't you check out some of these other goofy videos that I've made? Or you could subscribe or maybe go over to Patreon and see how you get your name put on the videos like these fine folks over here. All the links are, of course, down in the description. We'll see you guys next time.